I am, as the title suggests, live making card slot toppers. So these are going to go in a wallet. So the next course is a bifold wallet, which is eagerly anticipated by many who've been asking over the years for one. And we've done a few different wallets, long wallets, zip wallets. What else have I done wallet-wise? Card wallets. I've also done a passport wallet, travel wallet for cash, and all sorts of things. So a few wallets, but never a bifold wallet. So today, that is exactly what I'm doing. So what I've got here, it's some glacé kid skin. This is one of my favorite leathers to work with. And kid skin is just a small goat, okay? Small because it's young, not because it's just, small. So what I'm doing at this stage is cutting out all the toppers. I'm actually going to stand for this, which is a little bit better. So this is the part of the wallet that's actually going to be seen. This will be glued onto reinforcement and then stitched in further into the build. And this allows for a very strong, very durable wallet as compared to conventional solid leather T-slots, which are not my favorite. I have to be honest with you. So I've got a small little pattern here. What I've done is just put down some water-based contact adhesive on to one side, let it dry completely, and that gives me a semi-sticky rubbery surface to cut out these little toppers. So that's what we have. That's my second one. So I need 8 of these in total. Just going to cut off that excess there. Wrong way around. So the thickness on this is pretty thin. We're looking for a finished thickness of about 0.4 to 0.5. And even then, there's a little bit of skiving going on. Going to nip that off. So to all who are watching, how are you doing today? Hope you're enjoying your Saturday, wherever you are in the world. Feel free to let me know where you're watching from. It's always interesting to see. So you can see there, it's very thin leather, and that's what we're looking for. It will be doubled over, so that's not the finished thickness. The leather will be doubled over onto itself. So we'll be, and then we'll have 2 layers of reinforcement in between that. So it won't be paper thin, but very thin, slimline bifold wallet, and that's what we're looking for, ideally. Going to bring this into frame carefully. Another one. So that's 4. So we need another 4 more. And then what I'll do is I'll take you guys over to the paring stone, and you can see the skiving process. Sunny Manchester. Sunny Manchester. I'm assuming it's not that sunny today. It's definitely not here. Or hasn't been. I mean, what's the time now? It's not even 4 o'clock and it's starting to get dark. Days are getting longer though, aren't they? So that's something to look forward to at the very least. Going down to 0 degrees tonight, always fun. I've overcut that side, so I'm going to turn this around and do that again. I'm doing it at a funny angle. There we go. So, 2 more. And this will be a card wallet on both sides. So we have 4 slots per side. And then a cash pocket, and then 2 extra pockets behind each card pocket stack. So the emphasis on this one is functionality, but also slimness. That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's cut another one for that. Right, so let's take you guys. I'm going to angle you guys downwards a little bit. Sorry if this is making you a bit sick. No snow is a bonus. I don't know. I like it a little bit of snow. I just came back from Canada, where it was snowing a bit over there, which was quite nice. Then you got White Christmas. But I get it, yeah. Yeah, I'm self-employed and I can work from home and walk to my studio here. So 25-minute walk through the snow is quite nice, but I get it if you have to go to work. How long have you been crafting leather for? 17 years now, good Lord. Yeah, so a little while. Okay, so thin leather, shallow skive. I'm going to go over this delicately first of all, because it's always a bit more tricky skiving leather that's already very thin. Let's see what that thickness is like actually. That's pretty good. So nice sharp blade. We want to make sure that we don't go through to the grain side, which is easy to do. At 0.4 millimeters of thickness. So there we go. A little difficult to see there, but those edges are skived down to almost 0, which is like a sharp knife edge. Like if I angled this really high and cut through, it would go down to a 0. So this is almost down to a 0, maybe 0.05 millimeters, something like that. I get asked quite often, this is probably in the top 5 most asked question, what thickness of leather do I need for a wallet? And my answer is always, which part of the wallet? Because if you want to make a really luxurious wallet, there isn't one thickness. For example, I don't buy 0.8 millimeters and then go ahead and make a wallet out of that. It really depends. And is that part that you're creating going to be folded over? For example, I can go really thin on this because it's going to be folded over on itself, and that essentially doubles the thickness. Is it going to be reinforced? If it is, you have to account for that thickness. So if you want to make a very simple wallet, you can go ahead and make solid T-slots and everything like that out of something like 0.7, 0.8 millimeters. But it depends how far you want to go with your wallet making skills. At some point, you're going to need to work with thinner leathers. And different parts may require different thicknesses. I actually created a blog post if anybody watching is interesting, if you go to leathercraftmasterclass.com, I should have a link below, but just leathercraftmasterclass.com. If you go into the blog section, I did write an entire article on what leather thickness for wallets. And I think that will help a lot of people understand what numbers to work with depending on what type of wallet you're really building. Do you use a sewing machine? I don't. I've kind of chosen to do things the old way, the traditional way. I mean, I guess sewing machines would also be traditional in the strictest sense, but I prefer doing everything by hand, from skiving to cutting to stitching. So I actually do not own a sewing machine. Probably should at some point. Some parts it would be handy. Oops, went a bit short on that one. So little thin strips coming off. Feels like cheating, or is it efficient? No, using a sewing machine is not cheating. It's just a different perspective, you know. If you want to make leather goods for a business and you want to make a higher volume, then it makes sense to get yourself a sewing machine, absolutely. Because it's going to really speed up the process a little bit in some ways, like getting a skiving machine. Like I could run this through the skiver over there. I've got the machine for it, but I'm doing it by hand because it's a little bit delicate. And you're always going to need hand skills at some point. If you're building a bag, there's going to be areas where it's just not possible, or you'd have to have a very specific and specialized sewing machine to finish off certain areas. So it makes sense to have the ability to hand stitch. But at the same time, you can also make bags where you're, hand stitching a portion of it and then machine stitching other areas where you don't need the extra strength and resilience that hand stitching brings, because it makes for a more durable seam. But cheating? No, it's not cheating. We're not in a competition with anybody. I mean, if you were, making leather goods to sell and you said it was all hand stitched, I mean, you could say that's cheating a little bit. That's probably just an all-out lie. No, but I tend to enjoy it. Some people really don't like hand stitching in the same way as some people really don't like hand skiving. It's usually one of those things where it's not a case of it doesn't work for you. You need to kind of work for it and bring up your skill level to get used to it. And then once you're used to it, it's actually quite endurable. Like, I enjoy hand skiving, I enjoy hand stitching. There's certain chores that I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy threading needles. What else don't I enjoy? Oh yeah, I really don't enjoy cutting out patterns from card. Don't know why. It's just like, ugh, this. If ever you get a sewing machine, I recommend the Juki TL, best sewing machine you can get. Yeah, Juki are a good brand. They're Japanese, I believe, aren't they? So what I'm doing here is just thinning down the edges. And the reason that I'm doing that is when you're attaching all these card pocket toppers to reinforcement, as you fold it over and press it down with your adhesive, and you tap everything down, you stitch the sides, you can sometimes see the cutoff of the edge, and you'll see lines in your card pockets. So this just ensures, with the tapered ends here, that you can't see it, or at least it minimizes it to quite a degree. So I'll show you some of the builds so far in the wallet. So the exterior, where are we? The exterior that I'm using here is some nice black alligator. So it'll be a nice look to the wallet. Of course, anybody making this wallet, you don't have to use exotic skins if you don't want to, or you don't have access to them. You can actually use whatever exterior leather that you want to within reason. I mean, this is going to be a turned edge wallet. So every part of this, the edges will be turned back on themselves, which means there's no edge finishing involved. There's no burnishing, there's no edge paint. I kind of wanted, I've done wallets before that are cut edge, which are finished with edge paint and even burnishing, but I wanted to kind of teach the skill of the turned edge wallet, because it's one of those things, really high-end wallets, you see a turned edge because it requires more skill from the craftsman or more knowledge than a regular cut edge. However, I do find, compared to the amount of time and effort it makes to edge paint an entire wallet with multiple layers and drying times in between and sanding and finishing and all that kind of thing, I actually find a turned edge is quicker to do than working with edge paint. Burnishing might be a little bit quicker depending on how far you want to go with your burnishing. All right, so these are the little card toppers. We have them already there. And the exterior is this part here. And here we have, yes it is, this is our partition. So this is actually one piece of leather that's folded over onto itself with a reinforcement on the inside. Quite thin, 1.2 millimeters thick overall, I believe, but it's reinforced, so it's structurally very, very sound. There's no stretch to it, torsionally very rigid. And that is the backbone. Here we have a reinforced, this is the lining for the exterior. So that goes over the top here. So when you look inside the wallet in the cash pocket, where you put your bills, hence some people call it a billfold, that's what you see. And along the top, that will be folded over. So the alligator will be folded over. On this side, you'll have all the card stacks on either side, and then that gets folded over. So overall, we should end up with something quite thin. And I really do like black and olive green. There's something about that color combination that really speaks to me. I really like that color combo. I'm not sure why. I just do. All right, guys, only a short and sweet one today, just doing a little bit of skiving with the knife. If you guys have any questions before I go, feel free to ask. I'm just going to top this up a little bit. This, by the way, I did a YouTube video. If you go back through all my YouTube videos, if you go on my channel, you could put in the search section on the top, the little magnifying glass, strop or sharpener, something like that, and this should come up. And this is just a really simple build. This is what, a piece of 2x1. And on one side, I've got a very fine grit abrasive paper. And on the other side, I've got this, which is just vegetable tan leather with a little jeweler's rouge on there. But the thing I like about this is just we've got some rubber flooring on each side, and it's slightly higher than each face, which means when I put it down, as long as you don't have a dirty table, I don't have to worry about holding it. And this abrasive paper is worn down. It started out life at 2,500 grit, and as it's worn in, it's probably like 10,000 grit or something like that. So I'm not really building up a burr or having to use water, just getting that initial edge on there, and then on the flat side just kind of swiping in a few times. I don't do this too often, actually. I very rarely actually sharpen it up like that. And then once you've finished, keeping the fingers well out the way, which you can do because it grips the surface, just polish out any of those little micro scratches from the abrasive paper. And then obviously don't push into it on this side, just pulling back, a little down pressure. A little bit more. Yeah, so that rubber flooring on each end, which is just nailed into place, just stops it from moving around, so I can kind of keep my hands out of the way and use the entire surface. And then just a little quick test. Oh yeah, that's that's similar to my straight razor. It's just popping off. Scary, scary sharp. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today on a Saturday. Appreciate your time. I'm off out this evening, and I'm going to be doing some more live. So don't forget to turn on your notifications, because if you want to see new live videos which I'll be doing during this wallet build, there might be some tips that you can pick up along the way, and if you have any questions, obviously if you join me while I'm live, I could just answer them in real time and give you examples if you want to. But thank you for joining me. Turn on your notifications. I can see 3 of you have liked this, and there's a lot more than 3 of you watching, so if you wouldn't mind giving me a like, I'd really appreciate it. So stay tuned for more lives on this wallet build, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.